we're coming to your city. Gonna play our guitars and sing you a country song. We'll all be flying higher than a jetliner. And if you want a little bang in your yin yang, come along.
And welcome along to Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle here on this Friday. Thanks a lot for joining us, taking us along wherever you're going, whatever you may be doing. We appreciate you taking us along for the ride. Hope you're having a great day and ready for the weekend. Jim Coyle here, as I said. Justin Kalen high atop the crew chief's box.
That's right.
A little rainy out there, but not too bad. Not too bad at all for a December day, especially December 21st. My gosh, I cannot believe we're that close to Christmas. I just thought about it this morning when I was stopping to get coffee. I'm like, huh? Christmas. I go, Tuesday. I'm like, what? Really? Whew. Yeah, you might as well forget about trying to talk because the mic there, it worked that
Talk
time.
about.
Well, it's hit or miss.
It's going to work today.
Well, hopefully
It's
it works
Friday.
now, so let's get to the headlines since it's working.
All right, here are your headlines for this Friday, December 21st, brought to you by Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart, located on Highway 150 in Floyd's Knobs. Indiana women's basketball team loses their first game yesterday as they fall 65-62 to Grambling State. They will take on South Dakota today at 3. Quade Green, the Kentucky transfer, is transferring to Washington. And another big weekend for Indiana basketball as the men's team takes on Jacksonville University tomorrow at 6 to try to end conference or non-conference play with an 11-2 mark. Those are your headlines for this Friday, December 21st, brought to you by Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart, located on Highway 150 in Floyd's Knobs.
And welcome back. A lot going on this weekend. Indiana taking on Jacksonville, as Justin said. Place near and dear to his heart. He'll actually be on the call for Jacksonville.
That's going to be weird.
I guess they couldn't get anybody else? No kidding. What? So when was it you were in Jacksonville?
2 years ago. That's where I went fresh out of college.
Fresh out of college. Wet behind the ears.
Yep. But yeah, I got to know the play-by-play guy for Jacksonville really well. When I first saw Jacksonville on the schedule, I thought maybe I'll shoot him a text, see what he has to say. And he was very receptive to the idea, so I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be really hard, though, to be a straight Jacksonville lean when I'm sitting there watching.
Well, I don't think you need to be a lean. There doesn't need to be a lean. Just call it as it is.
Right. And that's what I'll do.
That's what makes it pretty easy.
Yep.
But Indiana taking on Jacksonville this weekend. The women's team took it on the chin yesterday for the first time. It's kind of a bad day. But the thing is, there was big talk about them being ranked and whatnot. Losing to Grambling probably doesn't help your case.
No.
They were 1-8 going into that game. Looks like they had a huge second quarter. I was looked at the box score last night, and after the first quarter, it was tied, and then Indiana was outscored 19-10 in that second quarter. They got down 10. They just could not recover. They chipped a little bit off of it in the third quarter, chipped a little bit off of it in the fourth quarter, but not enough as they go down to Grambling.
And their 10 wins prior to that game last night, they had only had 2 wins that were in the single digits, meaning they had beaten everybody by double digits.
Too much fun in Puerto Rico. Maybe they were in the rum.
Maybe.
Something. Apparently, according to ESPN, Rick Pitino's accepted a job in Greece. How about that? What do you think of that? Rick Pitino wanting to do some coaching, but not wanting to do it here. That's not probably too... He gets to go to a foreign country. Greece is a little scary. I don't think their finances have been the best in the world. Get your money up front. But he gets to go to a cool place. No scrutiny. He's not going to be getting second guessed by the media. So, probably not a bad move on Ricky P's part.
Well, and that was the first thing I thought of. I was like, Greece, really? Why the hell would you want to go there? And then I started breaking it down. Like, okay, he's not going to get the media attention. He'll have an opportunity to build up his reputation again as being a really good coach.
Well, there's no downside.
Right.
Here, it doesn't matter. You go to college, well, can he even go to college? Can he even get a college job right now?
No.
I don't think so. because of the cloud, even though nothing has actually been tied to him. Not one thing. He's been charged with nothing. But even with that, I don't know that anyone would hire him in the NCAA. Then you got to go the NBA route. I don't think he wants to do that because he didn't exactly have a lot of success in Boston and just a lot of scrutiny. So, like I said, he can go to Greece, get paid lots of money, live in a cool place with zero pressure, zero scrutiny.
And you're still doing what you love.
I get it. It makes sense to me. Doesn't matter to me, but I get it. Duke, big game last night. The biggest basketball game on the docket last night, Duke and Texas Tech. A great game, actually.
Yeah.
Texas Tech gave them all they wanted. Duke too much in the end. But, of course, they're playing in Cameron Indoor Stadium. I think all of their games. Duke must be the only college basketball team that every game they play is at home. Every game.
I don't know that this one was.
I thought it was.
I was watching it. It didn't look like Duke's
It
floor.
wasn't?
Mm-mm.
I didn't see the game at all.
No, there was not a Duke logo in the middle of the
Then
floor.
it wasn't at Duke then.
Yeah, I can't remember where
They were
playing.
listed as being at Duke when I read it. That's why.
But even still, yeah, it was a great game. Texas Tech was actually down 8-0 early on in that one. Then they came back. They actually had the lead for a good chunk of the second half. I thought they were going to be able to pull it off, but like I said, Duke gets them. Too talented.
I don't know where the game was being played, but Duke is listed as the home team. They're on the bottom, so that means they were home. I mean, they are the home team. It doesn't mean it was in Cameron, but somebody hit us up on the text line with that. Just look at a. If I could see a single video of a highlight, I could tell you exactly immediately. But hit us up on the text line anyway. 812-269-6367. Let us know what you're thinking today. You got any questions? Todd Leary's on the show today, as he is each Friday. We're going to talk some IU basketball. We'll get prepped for that Jacksonville game. Also on the show, we're going to get back up to date on recruiting, what's going on. Drew Davis, Pigs.com, our recruiting guru. And we'll put the football signing to bed. A great college football signing week for a lot of people, Indiana especially. Sammy Jacobs from Hoosier Huddle's on with us to talk about that. But, same thing last year. Indiana had a decent class last year. A little bit better class this year, their best ever class. But do you know where their best ever class lands them ranking-wise in the Big Ten this year?
12.
10th.
Same thing as last year, right?
Best ever, and they're 10th in the Big Ten.
Crazy.
There's only 14 teams in the whole damn conference. So, with all the hoopla about how great of a class it is, and it's a great class, and I'm not knocking it, not knocking the incredible job that Tom Allen and staff have done recruiting. But your best ever class is only good for 10th in the Big Ten. So you're in front of whom? Illinois, Rutgers. I don't know who else.
Yeah, I don't even know who else. Maybe Minnesota?
No, I'm going to say no to Minnesota. I bet they've been getting good recruiting classes.
I wanted to say Northwestern, but they just played in the Big Ten Championship, so that doesn't make sense.
Well, that doesn't mean they had a great recruiting class, but I didn't see the entire list. I just know where Indiana was. But, yeah, but I guess it's a good sign maybe of hopefully if they can show progress next year, maybe they can have even yet a better recruiting class. But this is what they're going to have to get yearly to compete. I mean, if you're going to compete in the Big Ten East until they change the divisional lineups, you have to do something, man. But great job recruiting by them. I mean, you got to take your hat off to them, like I said. I'm happy for them. Hope it translates to wins on the field.
That's the important thing.
Sooner rather than later. Wondering what changes will come personnel-wise. I think that agree with Matt Weaver. We talked about it yesterday. I think that now that this signing period, when it comes to a close after today, then I'm sure that's what they're talking about, thinking about right now, because they've been focused on nothing but recruiting. Hours after that last game against Purdue, they were recruiting. They had an official visit that same weekend. So for 3 weeks, they've done nothing but just kill it, and they did a great job because they kept all of their commits except for one. And of all places, he flipped to Louisville, who signed a grand total of 4 people with him. Amazing.
Maybe they got 1 or 2 more yesterday.
No, they did not.
No?
Not to my knowledge. I have not seen that. They have 11 slots open. So I just... They did a great job. Phenomenal job. Imagine what it's going to be like when they get a class that's in the top 5 in the Big Ten.
Is that even possible?
Be tough because look at the teams you're going against. I don't see how you ever could unless you signed just 2 unbelievable 5-stars. But, when you're going against Michigan, Michigan State, Penn State, Ohio State, Wisconsin, Iowa, there's 6. There's 6 teams right there that you're just going to be hard-pressed to ever beat in a recruiting battle. Yeah. Ever. I didn't even mention Purdue, Northwestern, Nebraska. So, yeah, but you get inside that top 10, I think that's when you're 8th or above, I think you got to be in the 8th slot or above. I just named the top 6. So that's 7 and 8. That's in the upper middle. To me, you got to be no lower than 8 to have had a really good recruiting class. Although this is great for them. But I think that they may be heading in that direction. I think that Tom Allen may be heading in that direction. I think that Tom Allen's going to be a good head coach one day because he's a great person and he really cares about everything that he's doing and doing it right.
That's the important thing, doing it right.
The players respect him without a doubt. So we've got a lot to get to today on the program. Like I said, Drew Davis comes up. We'll talk some basketball recruiting. Sammy Jacobs will finalize the football recruiting. And Todd Leary, former Hoosier star, on the program today. All that back and more here on Indiana Sports Beat right after this.
Right through my pocket and into my skin. Come Monday morning, I'll be broke again. It's Friday.
This is Jim Boyle when I'm out on the road covering the Hoosiers. You can find me at Bubba's 33 on the northeast side of I-65 at Veterans Parkway in Clarksville. Bring the team in for that post-win meal in the family dining area or just meet friends for happy hour. Bubba's has bold burgers, hand-tossed pizzas, mouth-watering wings, and a list of select local craft brewers for the coldest beer in town. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Burgers, pizza, beer.
Many medicines used to treat colds and flu contain acetaminophen, a pain reliever and fever reducer found in hundreds of over-the-counter and prescription medicines. But taking too much or more than one medication containing acetaminophen per day can damage your liver. So always read the label and don't take acetaminophen if you drink 3 or more alcoholic drinks every day. To learn more, visit fda.gov/OTC pain info. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Food and Drug Administration.
If you're a homeowner and have storm damage to your roof, you want a hometown contractor you can count on and trust. Brooks Roofing of New Albany has been doing quality work since 2006. Check out their work for yourself at brooksroofingin.com. No job is too big or too small, commercial or residential. Brooks Roofing is probably working in your neighborhood right now. Visit brooksroofingin.com or call 812-868-ROOF. That's 812-868-ROOF. Brooks Roofing, the protection you need when nature strikes.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
All right, crew, let's get her dug.
Honey, you want to give me a hand? I'm planting that tree, remember?
No matter how large or small your digging project may be, no matter how urban or rural, you must always call 811 before any digging project. 811 is our national one-call number, alerting your local utility companies to come out and mark any lines they have near your dig site. You must call 811 at least 2 to 3 business days before any digging project, so you can avoid hitting our essential buried utilities. This includes natural gas and petroleum pipelines, electric, communication cables, and water and sewer lines. So before you do this or this, make sure you do this. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811. Brought to you by Common Ground Alliance.
If you want to get your day off to a good start, then stop at Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart on Highway 150 in Floyd's Knobs. While you're filling your gas tank, you could fill your own tank with a hot breakfast or try one of Billy Joe's daily lunch special. Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart opens at 5 a.m. and everything is made fresh daily. And if you bring your own mug, coffee is only 50 cents. And Billy Joe's also has free air. The best place to start your day is at Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart on Highway 150 in Floyd's Knobs.
If you want the most comprehensive coverage of the Indiana Hoosiers, you need Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle. Join us each Monday through Friday for interviews with the players and playmakers. Weekly guests like Don Fisher, Terry Hutchins, and Chronic Hoosier. We've got live reports from each game. No one gives you better coverage of Indiana athletics. Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle is available on iTunes and Google Play. You can follow us on Facebook or at indianasportsbeat.com. Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle. We don't miss a beat.
Welcome back to Indiana Sports Beat here on this Friday. A little rainy, but not too bad for a December day, December 21st. Thanks a lot for joining us. Sammy Jacobs from Hoosier Huddle on with us now. Sammy, how are you?
It is the final Friday before winter break, you put 1-1 together, and then I'll let you figure out how I'm doing.
Sammy's excited, baby. Sammy is a happy man. He's in Candyland right now. Yeah, how's the prison break been going for you? Sammy works at a school, actually, not a prison, but I kid him a lot. But how's prison life? How's life in the yard?
It's it's a challenge. We've got some challenging kids, but they grow up in a rough background, and they just need some place where they can learn and feel safe, and we're trying to provide that.
Glad that they have you. Big day for Indiana. So far as not day, just the signing period. Great class, and I was talking with Justin a second ago before we got to this segment, but even as good a class as Indiana's had, and it's been a good one, and you got to just not give a nod to Tom Allen and staff. Even with that, I noticed they're only the 10th best in the Big Ten, and then I started going down the line, though. I'm like, my God, look who you got to go against, these teams. 10th is not that bad as it seems. I think that 8th, once they get up to 8th and above, they'll really be kicking it in there. But this is a pretty good class for them. Actually, the best they've ever had.
Yeah, it's a really good class, and if you go into the recruiting rankings, it's not even a player that separates. I think Iowa's ahead of IU by a spot, and it's by like 1,000th or 100th of a point, or a couple hundredths of a point, and that's not even, a player or two. And if you go into the average star ranking, I think IU's above 10th in the Big Ten, and if you put Jack Tuttle in that class, I think it bumps him up to 25th nationally. So
that's huge.
You know, recruiting rankings are a little bit fickle, but yeah, it's a good class. And you know, if IU could get up into that mid, you know, between 7 and 9, they're in pretty good shape.
Yeah, I agree with it. It's pretty much exactly what I said. Once they get there, you know that they're really bringing it in. But it's because you're going up against Ohio State and Michigan and all those guys that are getting number 1, number 3 classes in the country. So it's a tough conference to do well in. But, man, a great job so far and filling a lot of needs. But Matthew Bedford, one of those recruits that they're able to land out of Tennessee, that was being pursued heavily by some Southeastern Conference schools. And to be able to pull him out of Tennessee with those Southeast SEC schools chasing him, that's a hell of a recruiting job.
Yeah, it is. And that's, you know, I believe you had Matt Weaver on earlier in the week, and he's a guy that Weaver has helped is the biggest recruiting win this year. And that's, you know, because it's so hard to recruit in the trenches that when you do have a guy and you want to hold on to him. So it's kind of like you won that recruiting battle 2 or 3 times, and having that kind of caliber offensive lineman, they don't grow on trees. And so to get someone like Matthew Bedford, it's a major win. Even though he's not the highest rated player in the class, offensive linemen like him don't come around every day.
Exactly, and we know that about Jack Tuttle. He's kind of part of this class, not really. He's a transfer, but he's a freshman, hasn't played, and he expected to be eligible immediately, which that's going to pay huge dividends in a couple of ways, either as providing a quarterback or as just providing competition in that quarterback room with him and Michael Penix. I know that Ramsey's still there as well, but I see this as probably a two-man race. Of course, we did that last year, wrote Ramsey off, and yet who ended up starting, so you never know. He could be Lazarus again, but this should create some great competition in that quarterback room. The likes of going back to when they had the 3-quarterback system going under Kevin Wilson a few years back.
Yeah, you know, you never just want one because something always happens. You know, people get dinged up or really, in case of Mike Penix, that they get seriously injured and lost for the year. So you want at least 2, if not 3. Now, if you get down to your 3rd quarterback, you hope that doesn't happen. But if you can keep Peyton Ramsey around, you know, if the first 2 guys go down, you have a guy who can kind of keep you afloat and who knows the offense and you feel comfortable with. Now, I do think he's a clear number 3, but I've got to see guys in spring practice, and it just makes that room where they needed depth. It got a lot deeper this past week.
And I'm sure the receiving room has to be ecstatic, knowing that they've got 3 quarterbacks now that all that can handle this offense. Jack Tuttle coming in, obviously known to have a nice big arm. Michael Penix has already talked about extensively. He has a huge arm. I bet the receivers have got to be getting really happy over there.
Yeah, they have to be happy, and to be able to hopefully put up the numbers that they want to go to the next level and to be looked at the next level, that'll be a huge boost. And then to be able to, you know, if let's say Penix comes back healthy for the whole season, and you have Tuttle in there as well to stretch the field down the middle of the field and run some of these routes that NFL guys want to see is very important.
And they got a lot of different guys. They have a lot of different needs, a lot of defensive linemen. Bo Robbins, probably one of the bigger names of that, coming out of Carmel. That does 2 things. You keep a big talent from in-state, but you're also getting a hell of a player in him. He's a good DL.
Yeah, it seems like the focus on this class is on the offensive and defensive lines, which is understandable, seeing that, you know, your offensive line last year was senior heavy and you want to balance out, classes. You know, IU has 5 more spots to play with, and there's talk about adding a grad transfer on the line to balance it out a little bit, or a junior college transfer. But the defensive line is somewhere where they made it a priority. I think they took 4 or 5 defensive linemen, and mainly guys in the middle of that defense where IU struggled last year stopping the run. And, people kind of been making fun of Juan Harris coming back, but he's a guy who, if his head is right, and he's had a lot of personal issues and things like that, if his head is right and they could get him on the field, could be a real difference maker, and just beef up that line in the middle and stop the run and make that defense that much better in 2019.
Yeah, Coach Allen doesn't say much about players individually unless it's something positive, but I did notice that he was a kid that had committed to, was it Iowa and Indiana back and forth, and then he ended up at JUCO, and now he's coming back to Indiana, and Coach Allen mentioned that and said that I think the part of that is just a growing up process.
Yeah, and one of the things that I've learned working at the school that I do is that, not everything in everybody's background is sunshine and rainbows, and that there's a lot of issues that kids go through and to fault not of their own making. And, it seems like Juan is one of these kids who grew up with a rough life, who needed to, grow up himself, and maybe, he didn't feel comfortable at Indiana the first time around, and goes to junior college to kind of work on his personal demons and things like that, and kept the relationship with Indiana well enough, and that's a big maturity thing too, because I could tell you from personal experiences, and I think Jim, you might have these experiences too, where if somebody makes you mad, you kind of nuke those bridges, and to be able to keep those relationships and be welcomed back is a good sign for how much growth Juan Harris has made. And I think, I hope he stays, and just for his personally, he's a kid you want to root for, and hope his life gets a little bit better.
Yeah, I think it's too easy for us to kind of just gloss over everything and clump everybody in the same boat as having the same background, and it's not true. I mean, people have rough lives. People grow up with no parents. They grow up in foster homes, all kinds of things before they get to this level, and they come here and we just kind of clump them into one boat and kind of forget that they're individuals, they're people, they've had lives to get here. So yeah, it's a good lesson for all of us, as a matter of fact, but for me and for everybody else, I believe. So yeah, it's great, and I wish him nothing but the best, and hope that he has a great career at IU for Tom Allen. And you got to give a hat off to Tom Allen again for taking someone like that in, knowing that there has been not problems but issues, but it looks like he's looking forward to taking that responsibility on. Hats off.
Yeah, definitely, and sometimes all these kids need is a second chance, and hopefully Juan takes advantage of it.
So what room would you say has been helped the best off of this class? I mean, we got Jake Tuttle was a great grab for the quarterback room. They're always kind of good, decent shape with what they've got going. The defensive line really looks like it was bolstered a lot, man. They needed it. They were losing a lot. They lost a lot up from the last defense the year before, and they were losing some more. So they definitely needed some help there at the lineman core. But they seem like they added a lot of good quality players.
Yeah, on defense, I definitely go towards the defensive line. You got some guys who can rush the passer, some guys who can clog up the middle, and we'll see. It's hard as a freshman to play on the defensive line, so we'll see, how many guys come in and can make a difference. You got CO in there and some other guys, but on offense, I think, the quarterback room got better, but I think the place that got the most help is probably the running back room. That was already stacked with talent with Stevie Scott and Ronnie Walker, and you get Cole Guest back. And then you add guys like Samson James and Ivory Winters, and you could argue that all 5 of those guys can play. Now, they probably won't all 5 guys playing. Maybe you see guys used in different positions, but that running back room from a couple years ago where it was just, Morgan Ellison and Colt Guest, and then from where it was after the FIU game where it was like, oh no, all you have is Stevie Scott, and Ronnie Walker hadn't really played. Now you have 4 guys you'd like to see play and get the majority of the carries. So the running back room to me if they're just going by talent, probably got the biggest boost. Not that it's needed it all that much, but to get a guy like Samson James, who's a former Ohio State commit, an in-state guy who's a national recruit, it goes a long way for Indiana.
I agree. And then also on the other side of the ball, Cameron Williams is another big name that they landed, a 4-star linebacker out of Maryville Andrean High School. Again, that does 2 things. You're getting another big in-state recruit. What message did the Tom Allen staff send to high school coaches across Indiana with this recruiting class, landing all these 4-stars?
I think he's trying to change the narrative of Indiana football, and he wants to get the best guys in the state. I believe he got 3 of the top 5 and 4 of the top 11, something like that.
I saw 4 of the top 6.
The rankings I looked at had Bo Robbins at 11 on 247. But, yeah, he gets a number of the top, 4 of the top 6, 4 of the top 11. Those top guys in Indiana, now they got to win games. Because now you start changing the perception. Oh, in-state guys, we could go to IU and win and accomplish all our goals. And Tom Allen said during their press conference on Wednesday that he just wants to be real with guys during his pitch. He doesn't recruit negatively, according to him. Now, I haven't sat down in a recruiting pitch with him, but he tells parents that we could build up your son as a student athlete, as a human being, and as a football player. And I think that message is very clear, and to get a guy to stay home. And guys are going to go and leave Indiana because sometimes you just need to get out of state.
Yeah,
but to keep some of these top talent guys in state is very important for the lifeblood of this program. You create fans that way. Friends and family of the kid, become IU fans instantly, and maybe if you win enough games, you could get that to stick.
Absolutely, and then translate it to wins on the field, which is the next important step. And I think part of that is probably going to involve a change in personnel, which Tom Allen was asked that in the press conference as well, and he, of course, said that they focused on nothing but recruiting since that last game, and understandably. I didn't expect anything to happen until this signing period was done, but once it is passed, I do think that there's going to be a change at offensive coordinator, but I don't know that, and I haven't been told that there will be, but I'm guessing, but we'll find out. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think, I didn't expect something to happen before the signing period was over. You just don't want to go down a recruiter in that, and it wasn't that desperate of a move to where you just had to do it before the early signing period. You had a lot of coaching changes right after the end of the season, and now the dust has kind of settled. So we'll see. I do think a change needs to happen, just in terms of the offense is stale. The fan base is fed up with Mike DeBoer's offense, and you're kind of, if you keep him on staff, you're kind of digging your own grave. And it's why Bill Mallory was let go. He refused to fire his offensive coordinator, and you'd hate to see IU lose a coach because of that. And it's happened before. You lost one of your, the all-time greatest coach in IU history that way, and you don't want to end the Allen era before it really even starts because he decided to keep on to an offensive coordinator now.
And I don't think that'll happen because Tom Allen is not in the same position. Bill Mallory was in a much better position. He had been a head coach before he even got to Indiana, and then at that point he had taken Indiana to so many bowl games. I think he felt like he had a lot more cachet behind his name, which he did. And I don't think Tom's in that position. Plus, I think Tom is truly committed to winning and winning at Indiana. And I think that the board was a stopgap measure for him, not being a head coach before, and he wanted someone that had been heavily involved in offense. But now, going forward, I agree with everything you said. I think that there will be a change, and I think it'll be a positive one. There's Matt Canada out there. I know that name's got to come up as an offensive coordinator, especially since he's available right now.
Yeah, he's the guy. It might be fantasy land, but he's a guy that you'd automatically, put at the top of your list. He's had success in Indiana. What I like about Canada the most is, that his offense is adaptable to the players that he has around him. He was offensive coordinator when IU had Ben Chappell, and could sling it for 400 yards and things like that. And then you saw him at Maryland with running quarterbacks. He could tailor his offense to incorporate that, where guys didn't have the arm that Chappell had, and Chappell certainly didn't have the legs that Kasim Hill and Ty Pigram had. But he could tailor the offense to the personnel he has, and I think that's a quality in a coach that many overlook. Is can you take what you have, kind of swallow your pride a little bit, and say, hey, maybe my system doesn't really work for this guy. Let's find something that works for both of us. He's a smart guy. He's an Indiana guy, and it'd be awesome for IU to have him back. Now, I think he's one of these guys who, if he's successful, I'm shocked that he hasn't had a head coaching job yet.
I thought he was going to get the Maryland job, to be honest with you. If that two-point conversion play works against Ohio State, there's no doubt he is their coach right now.
Well, I think they wanted to clean house, and he got caught in the wash. And if you're going to clean house from DJ Durkin, you got to clean house. And,
I agree.
He got caught up in that wash. But there were a lot of other jobs that maybe he could have taken and things like that. But he'd be a guy at the top of your list as far as bringing in an offense coordinator.
We'll certainly find out. Sammy Jacobs from HoosierHuddle.com. Thank you, sir. Look forward to talking to you again. We'll get everything wrapped up.
Thanks, Jim.
Have a good weekend. Thank you. Sammy Jacobs from Hoosier Huddle joins us, gets us caught up on the recruiting wars going on right now at signing day, National College Football Signing Day. We've got plenty more coming back. Drew Davis is going to update us on basketball recruiting. Todd Leary's on the show today. Stay tuned. Indiana Sports Beat back with more after this.
This is Jim Coyle, and I'm not on the road covering the Hoosiers. You can find me at Bubba's 33 on the northeast side of I-65 at Veterans Parkway in Clarksville. Bring the team in for that post-win meal in the family dining area, or just meet friends for happy hour. Bubba's has bold burgers, hand-tossed pizzas, mouth-watering wings, and a list of select local craft brewers for the coldest beer in town. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Burgers, pizza, beer.
Many medicines used to treat colds and flu contain acetaminophen, a pain reliever and fever reducer found in hundreds of over-the-counter and prescription medicines. But taking too much or more than one medication containing acetaminophen per day can damage your liver. So always read the label and don't take acetaminophen if you drink 3 or more alcoholic drinks every day. To learn more, visit fda.gov/OTC pain info. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Food and Drug Administration.
If you're a homeowner and have storm damage to your roof, you want a hometown contractor you can count on and trust. Brooks Roofing of New Albany has been doing quality work since 2006. Check out their work for yourself at brooksroofingin.com. No job is too big or too small, commercial or residential. Brooks Roofing is probably working in your neighborhood right now. Visit brooksroofingin.com or call 812-868-ROOF. That's 812-868-ROOF. Brooks Roofing, the protection you need when nature strikes.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
All right, crew, let's get her dug.
Honey, want to give me a hand? I'm planting that tree, remember?
No matter how large or small your digging project may be, no matter how urban or rural, you must always call 811 before any digging project. 811 is our national one-call number, alerting your local utility companies to come out and mark any lines they have near your dig site. You must call 811 at least 2 to 3 business days before any digging project, so you can avoid hitting our essential buried utilities. This includes natural gas and petroleum pipelines, electric, communication cables, and water and sewer lines. So before you do this or this, make sure you do this. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811. Brought to you by Common Ground Alliance.
If you want to get your day off to a good start, then stop at Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart on Highway 150 in Floyd's Knobs. While you're filling your gas tank, you could fill your own tank with a hot breakfast or try one of Billy Joe's daily lunch special. Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart opens at 5 a.m. and everything is made fresh daily. And if you bring your own mug, coffee is only 50 cents. And Billy Joe's also has free air. The best place to start your day is at Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart on Highway 150 in Floyd's Knobs.
If you want the most comprehensive coverage of the Indiana Hoosiers, you need Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle. Join us each Monday through Friday for interviews with the players and playmakers. Weekly guests like Don Fisher, Terry Hutchins, and Chronic Hoosier. We've got live reports from each game. No one gives you better coverage of Indiana athletics. Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle is available on iTunes and Google Play. You can follow us on Facebook or at indianasportsbeat.com. Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle. We don't miss a beat. Today's guest is brought to you by Reynolds Family Dentistry of Sellersburg. You need $1 million smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you'll get with Reynolds Family Dentistry.
You get a shiver in the dark.
Welcome back to Indiana Sports Beat. Thanks a lot for joining us, taking us along on this Friday. Joined now by Drew Davis, our recruiting guru from Pigs.com. Drew, how are you, my buddy?
I'm doing good, man. How about you?
Great, getting along, ready for the weekend. A lot of games coming up this weekend on the high school front with some big recruits going on. What's your schedule say?
Well, my schedule's actually I'm going to be kind of down for a few days. Headed out of town to visit some family for Christmas. So,
and I knew actually, that. I forgot.
Yeah, but when I get back right after Christmas, man, there's some really nice games. One tournament I think is really interesting. Is it's always a good tournament, but this year I think it'll be even more interesting. Is the Hall of Fame Classic up there at Newcastle. This year they have Brandon Newman and Valparaiso, the Purdue signee. They have Trey Jackson Davis in Center Grove, and they have Warren Central. And I can't remember who the fourth team is. I don't think they have any major prospects, but I know they're a real solid high school team, from what I remember looking through the lineup. But with Warren Central and Center Grove and Valparaiso being in that tournament, it should be a good one. And then the other one of the other ones I'm looking forward to is a tournament at North Davies, with potential of seeing IU target Caleb first. Some solid high school teams in there, and it definitely be a nice little test for first to almost go on the road and kind of go into an environment that's not a pro Blackhawk Christian. It's not going to be a pro Blackhawk Christian crowd, obviously, but I think I like to see guys, in environments like that, because I think it tells you a little bit of something about them.
Yeah, Westview is the other team that you couldn't think of. That's who will be taking on Center Grove in the first game on that December 29th at Newcastle Fieldhouse at 11 a.m., followed by Valparaiso and Warren Central. of course, David Bell, big football star, but Warren Central to the defending state champions, undefeated defending state champions, although they took a loss already this year. But, great. That's a great environment. It's the biggest high school gym in the world. Newcastle was there last year for that great event that they have there. So, you get to see a lot of great players play there, and as will be the case again this year.
Yes. Warren Central, they may not have David Bell until maybe Marion County tournament. Something to keep in mind with him, Jim, is he's got the I think it's the Army All-American game coming up, and that's when he's going to announce his college decision for football. And he's still got to train for that. And the other thing is, at the end of the football season, I think people forget that David Bell wasn't 100% in that state title game against Carmel for football because he messed up his ankle, and he's still trying to recover from that. And obviously, with basketball being a second sport, there's no real reason to rush out there and make it any worse because he's obviously got a really bright future, or obviously has a really bright future, and in football and basketball is just kind of something he does for fun. So he's not going to rush back, but they're saying Marion County tournament there in January, maybe the time he makes his debut. But Warren's been pretty good without him this year, and I think it's going to be really interesting to see once they get him back just how much better they get, because if they can get better than they are now, then that's going to be pretty impressive.
I agree. A little bit of news, it's not even college basketball news really, but kind of. Rick Pitino going to Greece to coach. What are your thoughts on that?
I'm actually, when I saw it, I was kind of floored about it because I expected Rick to try to get back on coaching, but going to Greece, that just kind of caught me off guard. I was kind of surprised by that.
Well, here's how I see it: is because, and you can let me know what you think about that. But I think because going to Greece, he's not right now. I don't think he can get an NCAA job, even though nothing has been tagged to him. He's been charged with nothing. He's still kind of a black name in the there's a line through his name right now in the NCAA, I think. And then with the NBA, I don't know that there's an opening, first of all, and then secondly, I don't know that he would want to go that route because he didn't have a lot of success at Boston exactly when he left there. So this is a way for him to get away, a coach, make money, be in a cool place, and yet have no scrutiny, no pressure.
Right. I definitely see what you're saying. I kind of agree with that. And, for him to get over there, if he does well in coaching pros in Europe, and maybe that opens the door for him to get back into the NBA at some point. Obviously, like you said, I'll be shocked if Rick Pitino ever coaches college basketball again. I don't see a path for that to happen. I don't see a team being willing to take that chance. But honestly, I know this is going to sound crazy, but I thought if Rick was going to coach again, it was going to start at the high school level. I figured that's where it was going to start because I figured someone at the high school level, would take a chance to be, welcome him in, and I figured that's where he would start back. But this is definitely, I think could be a good opportunity. If he does well, I think it could open some doors for him to get back to the NBA.
Well, we'll certainly find out as he runs that trick over to Greece. But and then coming back to stateside, Indiana takes on Jacksonville this weekend as they finish out non-conference play going into the Big Ten season opening up on January 3rd. They'll go into that without their starting point guard, Rob Finney, who suffered he's under concussion protocol, let's say. I'm not saying he suffered a concussion, but he took a blow to the head off of a knee scrambling for a ball against Central Arkansas early on in that game, and once he left the game, he went to the locker room, and he hasn't been seen again. So they'll be going. Obviously, that opens up room for Devontae Green, who stepped up the other night with a big night shooting the basketball.
Yeah, and some for people would also keep in mind with Rob and his concussion. Every concussion is its own thing, and recovery time varies from concussion to concussion. It varies from person to person how they're feeling and whatnot. And it'll just be ever since it takes Rob to get back to 100%. And I think that's a big loss. And I think Rob Phinisee is very important to what IU does. He's like most point guards, he's your engine. He makes you get out. His leadership, his tremendous feel for the game. That's one of the best things Rob has, is a good feel for the game, and just his basketball IQ and just how consistent and rock solid he is when he's on the floor. You're gonna miss that, and especially on the defensive end, because he's a really good defender as well. But Devontae Green had a really nice night stepping up against Central Arkansas when Rob went down. But you know what? We've seen this before. We've seen Devontae play a game like that before. And I guess the big thing for me is almost what is he going to look like next game? Now that he's done with this big game, if he's able to put together another solid performance, I think that'd be a very big step in the right direction, because consistency has plagued Devontae in the past, and if he could be consistent, he has a chance to get an even bigger role on this team. And going into the season, I think many of us thought that Devontae would be the third best player on the roster, really a third scoring option. But obviously he had that injury that prevented him from having the opportunity to earn that position, and Rob really capitalized on it. But now Devontae has that chance, and it'll be interesting to see what he's able to do with that opportunity.
Absolutely, and there's been talk of a third scorer, quote-unquote third scorer, because you're going to get it from Romeo and from Juwan each and every game. Those guys show up. But it's been who's going to be the third option. And I don't know that necessarily has to be a defined third option. And when I asked Coach Archie about that in the post-game press conference the other night, he said that that's more likely going to be by committee. And that's how it's been thus far. Justin Smith has played well the last 5 games. Before that, he was kind of lost in space. Didn't know what happened to him. 1 rebound in 1 game, 0 rebounds in another game. But since then, he had back-to-back 9 rebound games. He had a double-double. He's had 4 straight good games, at least, maybe 5, but 7 and 2 or 7 and 4 in this last game. So he's become a little more consistent in that regard, which is a huge for Indiana. They need that from him. But maybe he is that third guy, or it is by committee. Maybe it is Devontae stepping up this game. It's Rob Phinisee stepping up in that game. It may be Al Durham stepping up in a game, or Fitzner. Maybe he comes back. He's kind of disappeared a little bit, but I think it's going to be by committee without doubt.
Yeah, I do too. I don't think any one guy is going to carry the load, be the third scorer. With Justin, like you said, he's a candidate, but he's just not he's not a type of offensive player that just can go, it's big enough like explosions on the offensive end to put enough points up to consistently be a third scoring option. I thought Justin has been playing well the last couple, games after really struggling. I think it kind of started with a defensive matchup with Lamar Stevens at Penn State. You can control what you can control, and sometimes guys struggle on the offensive end, and there's just no way to explain it other than they're just in a slump. And then he went out and he played good defense on Lamar, and it's really carried over these last couple of games, and it certainly gave him a lot of confidence. And the offensive stuff is kind of taking care of itself. You look at the way that he played against Central Arkansas in the first half, where he had 10 points. I thought, there was goal finishes where Justin would have normally went for the big, bring the house down finish, but he wisely went for the finesse, approach around the rim, and he hit, all those shots. And I thought that was positive to see. You get 9 points out of a guy like Al Durham, 10 out of Justin Smith. That's the type of production you need. And then as you said with Fitzner, he's kind of just been really struggling here lately. But, before the season, I said that he would be a guy that might play more in conference play than non-conference play because of the way the Big Ten is set up and how, it's the pace will probably be slower than it is during non-conference. That will help Evan. Evan doesn't need to be out in the open floor defending. And, the pace slows down, and that definitely suits him, I think. And, he's just got to, be more confident when he gets, gets the ball on the catch. He doesn't have really enough space to shoot. I think guys have figured out kind of, how to defend him if they got more tape on him. But I did see some positive signs from him against Central Arkansas, even though he didn't finish with more than 5 points. But he did show some little nice little post moves. There's a couple of them that I thought looked more polished, more confident than they looked all year, and that they just roll it off, And those are shots that you'll hit as time goes on. And I think he's a guy that will be more comfortable in the Big Ten than he is at non-conference just because of the speed of the game, the style of the Big Ten game, and the way the Big Ten likes to handle, their front court. The way teams in the Big Ten like to build their rosters more. They like to have more of a traditional, big man, and I think that helps Evan because he's not at his best guarding a small ball 5 in space.
I agree, and we'll certainly find out. Indiana finishes out non-conference play against Jacksonville tomorrow, and then they will have 11 days off before Big Ten play resumes at home against Illinois, and we'll get started then. But until next week, Drew, I appreciate it. I hope you have a great weekend. Thank you very much, sir.
You too, man. I'll talk to you on Monday.
Sounds great. Drew Davis from Peaks.com getting us updated on recruiting information and what may be going on. Not a lot at the moment, but Indiana preparing for Jacksonville. We got plenty more coming up here on the show. Todd Leary's on the program today. Stay tuned for that. Lots more coming back. Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle right after this.
'Cause it's here that I got to stay. Touching down in
This is Jim Coyle. When I'm not on the road covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 on the northeast side of I-65 at Veterans Parkway in Clarksville. Bring the team in for that post-win meal in the family dining area or just meet friends for happy hour. Bubba's has bold burgers, hand-tossed pizzas, mouth-watering wings, and a list of select local craft brewers for the coldest beer in town. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Burgers, pizza, beer.
Many medicines used to treat colds and flu contain acetaminophen, a pain reliever and fever reducer found in hundreds of over-the-counter and prescription medicines. But taking too much or more than one medication containing acetaminophen per day can damage your liver. So always read the label and don't take acetaminophen if you drink 3 or more alcoholic drinks every day. To learn more, visit fda.gov/OTC pain info. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Food and Drug Administration.
If you're a homeowner and have storm damage to your roof, you want a hometown contractor you can count on and trust. Brooks Roofing of New Albany has been doing quality work since 2006. Check out their work for yourself at brooksroofingin.com. No job is too big or too small, commercial or residential. Brooks Roofing is probably working in your neighborhood right now. Visit brooksroofingin.com or call 812-868-ROOF. That's 812-868-ROOF. Brooks Roofing, the protection you need when nature strikes.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
All right, crew, let's get her dug.
Honey, want to give me a hand? I'm planting that tree, remember?
No matter how large or small your digging project may be, no matter how urban or rural, you must always call 811 before any digging project. 811 is our national one-call number, alerting your local utility companies to come out and mark any lines they have near your dig site. You must call 811 at least 2 to 3 business days before any digging project, so you can avoid hitting our essential buried utilities. This includes natural gas and petroleum pipelines, electric, communication cables, and water and sewer lines. So before you do this or this, make sure you do this. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811. Brought to you by Common Ground Alliance.
If you want to get your day off to a good start, then stop at Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart on Highway 150 in Floyd's Knobs. While you're filling your gas tank, you could fill your own tank with a hot breakfast or try one of Billy Joe's daily lunch special. Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart opens at 5 a.m. and everything is made fresh daily. And if you bring your own mug, coffee is only 50 cents. And Billy Joe's also has free air. The best place to start your day is at Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart on Highway 150 in Floyd's Knobs.
If you want the most comprehensive coverage of the Indiana Hoosiers, you need Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle. Join us each Monday through Friday for interviews with the players and playmakers. Weekly guests like Don Fisher, Terry Hutchins, and Chronic Hoosier. We've got live reports from each game. No one gives you better coverage of Indiana athletics. Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle is available on iTunes and Google Play. You can follow us on Facebook or at indianasportsbeat.com. Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle. We don't miss a beat.
We're coming to your city. We're gonna play our guitars and sing you a country song. We'll all be flying higher than a jetliner. And if you want a little bang in your yin-yang, come along.
That's right, come along. Welcome to Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle. Here's we finish out the week. Thanks a lot for joining us, taking us along wherever you're going, whatever you may be doing. We appreciate you taking Indiana Sports Beat along for the ride. Justin Kalen, high atop the crew chief's box.
That's right.
Got plenty to talk about today. We'll hear from Archie Miller, Juwan Morgan. Indiana taking on Jacksonville this weekend. Also, Todd Leary's on the show, as he is each Friday. So look forward to talking to him as well. Plenty to get to. Before we do that, let's get to the headlines with Justin.
All right, here are your headlines for this Friday, December 21st, brought to you by Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart, located on Highway 150 in Floyd's Knobs. Indiana women's basketball team tastes defeat for the first time on the season as they drop 65-62 to Grambling State. They will take on South Dakota today at 3 in their final game in Puerto Rico. Quade Green, the Kentucky point guard transfer, will head to Washington. Jacksonville and Indiana square up at 6 tomorrow, like we talked about, that game at Assembly Hall. And Rick Pitino landing in coaching once more as he gets a job in Greece. Those are your headlines for this Friday, December 21st, brought to you by Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart, located on Highway 150 in Floyd's Knobs.
And thanks a lot. Welcome back in. Rick Pitino back into coaching in Greece. Surprised, not surprised? Hit us up on the text line, 812-269-6367. Let us know what your thoughts are, comments, questions. You got questions for Todd Leary. I know Joker texted in a little bit ago and I didn't get to it yet, asking why Pitino would want to go to Greece to coach. But then he noted that prostitution is legal there. So that answered his question. Probably not the reason, but... There's the information.
Can't get in trouble for it if it's illegal.
But, I don't know that I'm surprised, not surprised. Maybe just because of where it is, how far away it is, as opposed to maybe being a national team from, say, the Bahamas or something like that, which would be very resort-like, but yet still close to his home in Florida. So...
Yeah, I'd have much rather gone somewhere tropical.
Well, I mean, Greece is not exactly Russia.
Yeah.
It's in the Mediterranean.
Oh, one of my best buddies loves Greece. He's been 3 or 4 times.
So, not exactly hell. He's not going to a bad place. He's going to a cool place. He's got no pressure on him. There's no media scrutiny. He's not going to have to listen to all the stuff, the gruff. Because at the end of the day, with all of his NCAA problems Louisville had, Rick Pitino was never charged with anything. Rick Pitino was never shown to have done anything wrong.
Then why the hell is he going to Greece?
Because Louisville fired him, because his name has been linked to the investigation, but yet nothing, no charge, not a single charge. Why is that, Bill? Because they obviously don't have enough to charge him. They don't have anything to charge him. Maybe he didn't actually do anything. Maybe he was part of the fallout.
I don't know. Something tells me that if he's going to Greece, he's got a little bit of weight on his conscience.
Well, first of all, you can't get a job in the NCAA. He can't get a coaching job. No one is going to hire him. No college is going to hire him. The fact that one of his assistants that was also fired, that was definitely involved in that FBI investigation sting, got a job, was at Lamar. Was it Kenny Johnson?
Yeah.
Is he still there? Now, how he got a job, that's beyond me. But he did get a job. But Rick Pitino's not going to get a job in the NBA. Not that there's not an opening right now, but even if there were, I don't think his name is one that's going to be first on the list. He's been moved way down the list now. He's not a hot name. He's not on the rise. He's, in his upper 60s.
Kenny Johnson's at LaSalle, by the way.
LaSalle, not Lamar.
Yeah.
It's close. But same difference. I still don't see how you got a job anywhere.
Right,
It
yeah.
doesn't matter. But that's that. But, yeah, hit us up on the text line, 812-269-6367. Questions, comments, let us know. Todd Leary's going to be on the show today. Let us know what you're thinking there. Indiana women's team taking their first loss on the season last night. They're in Puerto Rico, playing in a tournament down there. They lose to Grambling 65-62. Bad second quarter. They got outscored 19-10 and just could not make up that deficit in the following two quarters as they lose a close one there. Quade Green transferring to Washington from Kentucky. I think that's huge.
Yeah.
Not the transfer from Kentucky, but to Washington. Washington is, I don't think it's even quietly anymore. They're building a big-time program. I mean, what the hell is going on in Washington?
Yeah.
How does the program just jump up that quick? Is that all because of the coach?
Maybe.
Well, regardless, they're jumping. The Huskies are making moves in the world of college basketball, and Quade Green would certainly help that cause, without a doubt. I mean, is he from that area?
It's a great question. I'll actually try to figure out where he's from.
But I'm trying to think, other than a good program, Washington being so far away, it would think like that's not your first thought of where to go to, but they are definitely a program on the rise. They're first in the Pac-12. They're probably the Pac-12 favorites.
He's from Philadelphia.
So, again, there you go. They're just slowly building a program out there, and they're going to be a force to be reckoned with. I think when the NCAA tournament rides around, that Quade, I don't think he can play for them immediately. He's going to have to sit out, but very interesting, very interesting.
Might want to unmute my mic if I want to talk. Washington, is worth noting, is 7-4 right now. 3 of those 4 losses, though, are by a combined 6 points. To number 11 Auburn, number 1 at the time Gonzaga, and then they lost to Minnesota by 2.
That's a little surprising loss there, but
yeah.
Where was that game?
At home.
That's very surprising.
Yeah.
I don't know how.
And then they lost by 12 to Virginia Tech. So 3 of their 4 losses have come to ranked teams.
Well, Quade Green's a former 5-star recruit.
Yep.
So that's good for whomever gets a 5-star recruit. He'll initially thought that he would have 2.5 years of eligibility left, but he only has 1.5 years for some reason. But that'll give them a big bump. I mean, they've been getting good recruiting classes. They're having a roll out there in the upper left, the Pacific Northwest. Not exactly known for college basketball.
No.
Out there, but and the West has been pretty weak lately. Other than Gonzaga, you're not getting a lot out there. Arizona State, Arizona, but really devoid of big-time teams.
I will give you a crisp $20 bill if you could tell me who the head coach for Washington is.
I knew it, and
as you're looking it up over there.
I was going to look it up, but I didn't. He's a former player, but he's a former player from back east, isn't he? Is it Tennessee? Is he a former Tennessee?
He played at Syracuse.
Just tell me.
Mike Hopkins.
Not who I was thinking.
I've never even heard of the guy.
Not who I was thinking. When did he become their head coach?
It's his second year.
Who was before him?
Great question.
There was someone I thought was a well-known name that was at Washington.
Oh, Lorenzo Romar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's who I was thinking. He started a good program. I don't know what happened to him, but I thought that they were making noise when he was there with recruits getting better, and then obviously now Mike Hopkins leading that fray out there. A name that you not exactly rolls off the tongue.
Romar went to Pepperdine.
Okay, why would you go from Washington to Pepperdine? Did he get fired? I don't remember that. I don't follow Washington, obviously.
Well, they say that he is returning to Pepperdine, so I imagine he was a coach there in the past.
Doesn't matter. You're still leaving a better program, I would think.
Agreed.
My guess. But anyway, it doesn't matter. But Washington's still building a program out there. I mean, they're doing well, doing some good things. And but Quaddy Green's not going to help him for a year, and he'll have a year and a half of eligibility. Yep. So, how does that work?
If he even uses the year and a half, I mean, he could go the Markelle Fultz route, have one good year, and say, "All right, I'm NBA ready."
Well, what are you going to do with a half a year?
Right. Now, is that this upcoming half?
I don't see how it could be.
Yeah.
I mean, they haven't changed the transfer rules yet.
Right. So he'd be the first part of the new year next year in 2020, and then that whole following season after. That's a long time to wait.
Is that what it is? He's losing this half a season? And
he should. That's how it should work, because, I mean, he played for Kentucky, so he's got to sit out a year.
I was going to say, how do you use the half? Yeah. So he can use the back half on next season.
Yeah.
Won't be eligible until right around conference play starts. So, but we'll see how that works out for them. But just college basketball shifting and moving around. Duke over Texas Tech last night, the biggest game on the docket, as Texas Tech gave them a good run. It was a great game, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, that took place in Madison Square Garden, by the way.
That's right. I remember hearing that. So Duke, still not a road game. They probably had more fans there.
Oh, yeah.
Than Texas Tech was able to land.
Oh, yeah.
But, Duke, not one of those teams that hasn't been on the road yet, really. I still don't think they've played a true road game. For real. Indiana's, on the other hand, they've been to Arkansas and to Duke to play in Cameron Indoor Stadium. So that's going to help them out anyway. But Duke doesn't really need the help, but it sure is nice when you can play every game at home or neutral court. But plenty more coming up on the show. Make sure you stay tuned. We've got Todd Leary on the show today. Hit us up on that text line, 812-269-6367. Indiana Sports Beat's back right after this.
This is Jim Boyle, but I'm not on the road covering the Hoosiers. You can find me at Bubba's 33 on the northeast side of I-65 at Veterans Parkway in Clarksville. Bring the team in for that post-win meal in the family dining area, or just meet friends for happy hour. Bubba's has bold burgers, hand-tossed pizzas, mouth-watering wings, and a list of select local craft brewers for the coldest beer in town. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Burgers, pizza, beer.
Many medicines used to treat colds and flu contain acetaminophen, a pain reliever and fever reducer found in hundreds of over-the-counter and prescription medicines. But taking too much or more than one medication containing acetaminophen per day can damage your liver. So always read the label and don't take acetaminophen if you drink 3 or more alcoholic drinks every day. To learn more, visit fda.gov/OTC pain info. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Food and Drug Administration.
If you're a homeowner and have storm damage to your roof, you want a hometown contractor you can count on and trust. Brooks Roofing of New Albany has been doing quality work since 2006. Check out their work for yourself at brooksroofingin.com. No job is too big or too small, commercial or residential. Brooks Roofing is probably working in your neighborhood right now. Visit brooksroofingin.com or call 812-868-ROOF. That's 812-868-ROOF. Brooks Roofing, the protection you need when nature strikes.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
All right, crew, let's get her dug.
Honey, want to give me a hand? I'm planting that tree, remember?
No matter how large or small your digging project may be, no matter how urban or rural, you must always call 811 before any digging project. 811 is our national one-call number, alerting your local utility companies to come out and mark any lines they have near your dig site. You must call 811 at least 2 to 3 business days before any digging project, so you can avoid hitting our essential buried utilities. This includes natural gas and petroleum pipelines, electric, communication cables, and water and sewer lines. So before you do this or this, make sure you do this. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811. Brought to you by Common Ground Alliance.
If you want to get your day off to a good start, then stop at Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart on Highway 150 in Floyd's Knobs. While you're filling your gas tank, you could fill your own tank with a hot breakfast or try one of Billy Joe's daily lunch special. Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart opens at 5 a.m. and everything is made fresh daily. And if you bring your own mug, coffee is only 50 cents. And Billy Joe's also has free air. The best place to start your day is at Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart on Highway 150 in Floyd's Knobs.
If you want the most comprehensive coverage of the Indiana Hoosiers, you need Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle. Join us each Monday through Friday for interviews with the players and playmakers. Weekly guests like Don Fisher, Terry Hutchins, and Chronic Hoosier. We've got live reports from each game. No one gives you better coverage of Indiana athletics. Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle is available on iTunes and Google Play. You can follow us on Facebook or at indianasportsbeat.com. Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle. We don't miss a beat.
Welcome back to Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle. Thanks a lot for joining us here on this Friday. That's Justin Kalen, Hot Top, the Crew Chiefs box.
That's right.
Todd Leary's on the program today. Stay tuned. He'll be coming up shortly. Hit us up on the text line, 812-269-6367. Let us know what the thoughts are, questions, comments. Questions for Todd coming up. Bill hit it up, said that Duke's first true road game, January 8th at Wake Forest.
How in the hell does that happen?
Because they schedule every game at home with the exception of a couple that they'll play on a neutral site like they did at Madison Square Garden.
I mean, how are you going to face arguably your best competition you faced all year in Texas Tech, and it's a neutral site game? Get out of here.
Made for TV, man.
It sucks.
Well, it's made for TV, but to me...
Why can't it be played at a campus and still be made for TV? I mean, I get it that Madison Square Garden's like the Mecca, but I think it could take place on one of these teams' campuses and still be a good TV
It
draw.
can, but they don't want to put themselves in a position of playing on the road.
It's BS.
It is. It's crap. All these made-for-TV games are aggravating to me, to be honest with you. I want to see games on campus. Yeah. I want to see Kentucky and Indiana playing in Rupp Arena and Assembly Hall.
That's college basketball.
That's exactly what it is. Not playing in these damn domes. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's about money for one side, for the schools and for the coaches. They don't want to they're too afraid to put themselves in a position where they may have to be on equal ground with somebody.
Yeah. And how bad would it look later on down the road if you've got a loss at home? Shucks. Come on.
It's Indiana's got 2 good road games under their belt already. Yeah. At Duke, at Arkansas. They're only 2 losses of the year. One of those they shouldn't have lost, but I don't think it's going to hurt them. At least they were making the effort. They've got 5 wins in the top 50, Ken Pom top 50. huge.
What did they have last year? Maybe 3?
Oh, did they have 3?
At the most.
They didn't. They didn't beat a team that played in the NCAA tournament.
Not a single. Didn't Notre Dame didn't make it? I think Notre Dame was.
I don't think they made it. I remember Bonzie Colson got hurt.
Yeah.
And they went into a tailspin. I don't think he did. Hit us up on the text line, like I said, 812-269-6367.
Been quiet today.
Well, I haven't been pushing it much, to be honest with you. Had guests all morning and just now getting slowed down. You got Todd Leary coming up next. We're going to talk about the state of IU basketball right now, and with the Jacksonville game coming up this weekend, they'll finish out non-conference play. I'm going to ask Todd about what he really thinks about where they are, because I got concern over this team, but it may be wrongly placed. I'm not a coach. I'm not a former player, but the fact that it's one guy seemingly having a great game every game for Indiana, now if that can continue, great. If there's always going to be somebody that'll step up, great. I'm just concerned about the three-point shooting is bad. Well, it's not bad. It's not very consistent, other than one person stepping up. The free throw line woes. As a team, again, Romeo hit 4-4 the other night, but if you take his shots away, they were 1 of 6 at the free throw line as a team. Just curious what his thoughts are. That, that's okay because you've got enough guys where someone's always going to step up. There's always going to be that guy that steps up. Which, of course, in the times that they don't, as long as that happens on a pretty regular basis, they're going to be fine.
Yeah.
They're not going to go undefeated. No one's expecting them to go undefeated. So they're going to lose. You're going to play some damn good teams. They're going to be on the road playing some good teams a lot in the Big Ten Conference. You've got to go to Michigan, one of the best teams in the country, a Final Four team, and probably a team that's looking Final Four poised again this year. You got to go on the road to them soon, no less. And then you also have to go on the road to Maryland, another good team. Lots of tough games coming up. So even if they play their best, that's probably not going to be good enough sometimes. I mean, if they play their best, Michigan plays their best at Michigan, still don't know if they can come out with a win. Now they'll put themselves in a position where they can, and I think these close games they've had thus far is going to help them because it has given them the moxie and the confidence to know that, or to not panic when they're down, when they're losing late. They're not panicking.
Yeah.
They've been through this. They've been through these wars, and that is huge. That mental mindset of not panicking is huge because I promise you, people do panic. That's why you see such change at the end of games when the pressure is really on. If you got a team that is that's old hat to them, that's just how they play. Man, that's going to be that's going to be a huge advantage as opposed to a team that's not really accustomed to being in that position and then feeling rushed, feeling pushed, not making those right decisions. Cutting down the turnovers the other night was huge. They opened up with a barrage of them, 5 in the first 5 minutes there, or 4 in the first 3.5 minutes. They picked up the 5th one within 9 minutes, I think. But then they only had about that the rest of the game. And some of that, a big portion of that came toward the end. So they got a handle on that.
Well, that's a point I was going to bring up, too, though, is the fact that a number of these close games have been close down the stretch because of the way that Indiana's been starting games. A lot of early turnovers, not shooting the ball well. You heard Archie Miller after last game talk about how his team wasn't ready. I mean, they have to come in ready or it is going to be a long season. They're going to play a lot of close games, but I absolutely agree with you, the fact that they are closing these games out and finding ways to win. And that's something last year's team wasn't doing. So it's good to see that that's the case this season. Now,
the next trip is I want to see them to not put themselves in that position.
Sure.
Stop starting slow. Stop. Whoa. You know you've been doing this, so let's focus on that. And if you're focused on it, how can you not do it?
Yeah.
See what they do against Jacksonville, how they come out. I'm pretty sure that's going to be point of emphasis for Archie Miller. And we'll see if his team can get focused on that. Tell us about Jacksonville, Mr. Jacksonville.
I can't do that yet.
The game's tomorrow.
Yeah, well, they played at Notre Dame last night, so I was kind of holding off on getting
and how
final
did that go?
Statistics. They got killed, 100-74. Notre Dame, by the way, playing without Rex Pfluger. So I thought I thought it would be a little bit closer, but no.
No, even without the Pfluger, they got flogged.
Right.
They were flogged without the Pfluger.
Anyways, speaking to what we were talking about, Archie Miller was actually asked on Monday night on the Coaches Show if he's concerned with these slow starts. Let's hear what he had to say.
I think, again, we've stated this, a number of times. Our offense can be our Achilles. Whether it's quick shooting, turnovers, or ineptness, so to speak, early in games until we kind of figure out how we're going to play. That being said, it's a positive. You have a lot of room to grow and get better. So if we can get better on that end, we're a better team. But we don't panic, and I think guys understand if we come to play on the defensive end of the floor, if we're bringing it like we know how to do it, then we can get back into things quickly.
And one of the things Archie said after the game against Central Arkansas, myself and Mike Schumann did the post-game wrap. That could be seen online on Facebook on video. But one of the things that Mike talked about was in-game coaching by Archie Miller. Basically, making changes, adjustments on the fly. Like in a football game, you go in at halftime and people adjust. Like this year, people would go in at halftime, adjust IU's offense, and IU's offense would make no changes and get killed in the second half or couldn't do anything in the second half. That's the advantage of making changes in-game. Archie is great at that.
Yeah.
And as a matter of fact, in the post-game press conference, or I don't know if that or the radio show, but he talked about in the second half we were a little bit better, especially in one stretch. We were able to correct our ball screen coverage on their front court. Their front court ended up hitting, I think, 5 or 6 threes. We were able to switch that up with a certain lineup that helped. It's exactly what I'm talking about. They were having success from the three-point line. Their bigs were hitting them. But that was partly because they were getting switched off on screens on defensively. And you've got a guard on a forward with giving up 6-7 inches, but these guys are hitting three-pointers. So they were able to make a correction and get that taken care of. But that's exactly what I'm talking about, making in-game changes quickly to alleviate pressure coming from in a certain direction. Stay tuned. We've got a lot more coming up here on Indiana Sports Beat. Todd Leary's on the program next. We'll be right back with Todd after this.
This is Jim Boyle, but I'm not on the road covering the Hoosiers. You can find me at Bubba's 33 on the northeast side of I-65 at Veterans Parkway in Clarksville. Bring the team in for that post-win meal in the family dining area or just meet friends for happy hour. Bubba's has bold burgers, hand-tossed pizzas, mouth-watering wings, and a list of select local craft brewers for the coldest beer in town. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Burgers, pizza, beer.
Many medicines used to treat colds and flu contain acetaminophen, a pain reliever and fever reducer found in hundreds of over-the-counter and prescription medicines. But taking too much or more than one medication containing acetaminophen per day can damage your liver. So always read the label and don't take acetaminophen if you drink 3 or more alcoholic drinks every day. To learn more, visit fda.gov/OTC pain info. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Food and Drug Administration.
If you're a homeowner and have storm damage to your roof, you want a hometown contractor you can count on and trust. Brooks Roofing of New Albany has been doing quality work since 2006. Check out their work for yourself at brooksroofingin.com. No job is too big or too small, commercial or residential. Brooks Roofing is probably working in your neighborhood right now. Visit brooksroofingin.com or call 812-868-ROOF. That's 812-868-ROOF. Brooks Roofing, the protection you need when nature strikes.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
All right, crew, let's get her dug.
Honey, want to give me a hand? I'm planting that tree, remember?
No matter how large or small your digging project may be, no matter how urban or rural, you must always call 811 before any digging project. 811 is our national one-call number, alerting your local utility companies to come out and mark any lines they have near your dig site. You must call 811 at least 2 to 3 business days before any digging project, so you can avoid hitting our essential buried utilities. This includes natural gas and petroleum pipelines, electric, communication cables, and water and sewer lines. So before you do this or this, make sure you do this. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811. Brought to you by Common Ground Alliance.
If you want to get your day off to a good start, then stop at Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart on Highway 150 in Floyd's Knobs. While you're filling your gas tank, you could fill your own tank with a hot breakfast or try one of Billy Joe's daily lunch special. Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart opens at 5 a.m. and everything is made fresh daily. And if you bring your own mug, coffee is only 50 cents. And Billy Joe's also has free air. The best place to start your day is at Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart on Highway 150 in Floyd's Knobs.
If you want the most comprehensive coverage of the Indiana Hoosiers, you need Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle. Join us each Monday through Friday for interviews with the players and playmakers. Weekly guests like Don Fisher, Terry Hutchins, and Chronic Hoosier. We've got live reports from each game. No one gives you better coverage of Indiana athletics. Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle is available on iTunes and Google Play. You can follow us on Facebook or at indianasportsbeat.com. Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle. We don't miss a beat. Today's guest is brought to you by Bubba's 33 in Clarksville with hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer. Pizza, burgers, beer. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville.
And welcome back to Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle here on this Friday as we get ready for the weekend. Hope you're doing well. Joined now by our favorite, Todd Leary. Todd, how are you, sir?
I am doing good. How are you?
Great. Indiana heading into the weekend with the final non-conference game and then a break in between before they pick up with Big Ten play. As a player, what was that like this time of year, Todd, when you guys have the season started, you've been put through all the preseason practice and all that now? It's probably a good time for a break.
Yeah, it is. And, you know, I'm assuming these guys, the ones that live pretty close, get to go home for a few days and stuff like that, which I can't speak anything about because we didn't get to do that back then.
And you lived in Indianapolis.
Yeah, I lived an hour away, and we got to go home Christmas Eve and had to be back at 3 o'clock on Christmas Day for practice. So it didn't matter if we always had that either Hoosier tournament or Indiana tournament. Remember, one was in Bloomington and one was in Indianapolis a couple days after Christmas, so we always had a tournament on the 27th. And so we either Dr. Bama's house or Dr. Rink or somebody's house, and they would cook a big dinner for us. And so it wasn't all bad, but we didn't get more than a day of being at home.
Yeah, these guys are getting a little bit more than that, like I said. And then I talked about some rest. Now they're kind of gotten over most of the injuries. We're still waiting to get Jerome Hunter's probably not going to make it back this year after having had surgery, but Race Thompson's someone that we just don't know much about. He's been in concussion protocol for a while, maybe mid-January is what I'm hearing. But now they lose Rob Fennessy to the same thing. He took a knee to the head scrambling for a ball last week against Central Arkansas, or the other day against Central Arkansas.
ball pretty well. He handles the ball pretty well. He's pretty good defensively. I think that the thing that separates him from, other guys that are his size that just don't get rated as high as he does is his ability to finish at the rim. Like